Welcome. I'm Dr. Jared Danielson, Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the graduates and faculty, to welcome you to the commencement ceremony of the College of Veterinary Medicine. Now, wherever you are, I invite you to stand as vocalist and second-year veterinary medical student Vida Hanchate sings the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the balls bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We extend a warm welcome to all who are viewing this very special commencement celebration today and begin by congratulating the class of 2020. You have successfully completed 4 years of rigorous training and are about to graduate from the oldest public veterinary college in the United States and one of the finest veterinary colleges in the world. You have become an important part of the Iowa State family and enriched the lives of your fellow students, the faculty, and others in the community. We are confident that you are leaving with an education that will serve you well and that you will represent Iowa State and the veterinary profession very well. I would like to introduce college leaders who, together with all of our college faculty, are proud of your accomplishments and are delighted to honor you on this special occasion. Dr. Rodney Bagley, Professor and Chair, Veterinary Clinical Sciences; Dr. Brad Blitvich, Professor and Interim Assistant Dean of Graduate Studies and Research Training; Dr. Amanda Fales-Williams, Professor, Chair, and Tyrone D. Arts, M.D., Chair for Teaching Excellence in Veterinary Medicine, Veterinary Pathology; Dr. Pat Halber, Professor, Chair, Veterinary Diagnostic and Production Animal Medicine, and Executive Director of the Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory; Dr. Clayton Kelling, Professor and Associate Dean, School of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln; Dr. Michael Kimber, Professor and Interim Chair of the Department of Biomedical Sciences; Dr. Kathy Miller, Professor and Interim Chair, Veterinary Microbiology and Preventive Medicine; Dr. Alejandro Ramirez, Professor, Assistant Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, and Roy A. Schultz Professorship in Swine Medicine, Veterinary Diagnostic and Production Animal Medicine; Dr. Stephanie West, Director of Hospital Operations, Lloyd Veterinary Medical Center; and Dr. Qiqing Zhang, Professor, Associate Dean of Veterinary and Graduate Studies, and Dr. Frank K. Ramsey Endowed Chair, Veterinary Microbiology and Preventive Medicine. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Daniel Grooms, the Stephen G. Julesgaard Dean of Veterinary Medicine.
Thank you, Dr. Danielson. Members of the class of 2020, on behalf of the faculty, the staff, and the thousands of proud alumni of the Iowa State University College of Veterinary Medicine, it is indeed my honor to first congratulate you and second, welcome you to this great profession. Congratulations. I would like to start by saying that I sincerely wish I could be with you today, in person, to share in your joy and tell you face to face how proud I am of what you have accomplished. I look forward to the day when I can shake your hand and personally congratulate you on a job well done. For now, please join me in a virtual fist bump, as this will have to do. Over the past 4 years, each of you has made a personal commitment to the veterinary profession. You have met the many challenges of earning a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree from one of the very best veterinary colleges in the nation and, in fact, in this world. I am guessing that 6 months ago, if I would have told you that your time as a veterinary student would end the way it has, you would have said, Dean Grooms, you are a crazy man. Some people say that regardless. But COVID-19 has certainly changed the world in ways that most of us could not even imagine 6 months ago. But just because we can't be together to celebrate your accomplishments, this does not diminish what you have achieved. The degree you have earned means you now have the tools to make the world a better place through advancing both animal and human health. And believe it or not, I am confident that you have the tools to help prevent, or if necessary, help manage the next global pandemic, whether it be in animals or in humans. Today, your dream of becoming a veterinarian becomes reality, a reality that in all cases was made possible through the encouragement you received from family, friends, fellow classmates, and mentors. I hope many of them are watching with you today. Please take a moment sometime today to personally acknowledge these individuals in whatever way you can. A text message, a Facebook post, iChat, a phone call, or if the circumstances allow, certainly do that face to face. There is another special group of people that I would want to recognize that have had a profound role in shaping you into veterinarians over the past 4 years. These people have terrorized you with learning terminology, life cycles, metabolic pathways, drug dosages, differential lists, cranial nerves, state and federal regulations, and the list goes on and on and on and on. They have taught you how to solve problems, think critically, seek out more information, communicate, and become lifelong learners. They have challenged you, not because they are evil and cantankerous, but because they want you to be the very best that you can be. I know for a fact that the faculty and staff of the college are so very proud of you, and I know that they all wish that they could be here to share with you this momentous occasion. So do me a favor. I would like for each and every one of you to reach out to faculty and staff members that have impacted your life over the past 4 years, and thank them. Again, an email, a text, a card, whatever moves you. During this extraordinary time, I know this would mean a lot to them. I do want to challenge you to think beyond this day and this moment in time. I challenge you to aspire to play a leading role in the exciting, rapidly evolving profession that you are about to join. I challenge you to think big, think bold. You have the education and the tools to transform lives. I challenge you to embrace this profession and make a big difference in this world. As you take this next step forward, be sure to consider ways to become involved in your community and the profession to which you now belong. This will be especially important as we look to recover from COVID-19. I hope you will take up the challenge and help your hometown, a nonprofit organization, or a local business to get back on their feet. Please, please step up. You will be glad that you did, because in doing so, you will become the latest chapter in the grand tradition of community and professional service that characterize the gentle doctors of Iowa State University. In closing, always, always, always remember you are now a Cyclone for life. Congratulations on your remarkable accomplishments. Welcome to our noble profession. Best wishes on your next great adventure, and importantly, stay safe. And remember, we are Cyclone Strong. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Dan Thompson, our invited commencement speaker. Dr. Thompson is the chair of the Department of Animal Sciences at Iowa State University and host of the national animal health television show, Doc Talk. Prior to joining ISU, Dr. Thompson served as the Jones Professor of Production Medicine and Epidemiology at Kansas State University, where he founded the Beef Cattle Institute in Kansas State's College of Veterinary Medicine. He is an internationally known leader, researcher, and instructor in animal health management, animal welfare, and beef cattle production. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Thompson.
Thank you for allowing me to share your special day. It's an honor and a privilege to be the speaker at this year's graduation. Class of 2020, parents, family, faculty, friends, Let's give this group of professionals a huge round of applause. Can you believe this day has come? Can you believe how fortunate we are to share it together? And how we miss those that would be beaming from ear to ear for this day. Veterinary medicine and veterinary school create lifelong bonds, relationships, and friendships like no other. The relationship and trust building isn't developed in work or in class, but rather they occur in times we spend outside of class discussing deaths, births, divorce, marriage, sickness, job, success, failure, life. Graduates, this is your day. You are the VIPs. I want to personally thank you for choosing Iowa State University and understand nobody contributes to the sustainability of our college, our university, or our profession more than you deciding to be veterinarians. This is your time, your college, your university, your profession. I did not attend my graduation 20 years ago, and it's one of my biggest regrets I have in my life. Karma, right? Here I am today at your graduation, and no one else is here in CY Stevens. You have to have a class gathering after this crisis, and please invite me. Have you ever wondered if some of the world's greatest philosophers would have been veterinarians? What about Plato, Socrates, Aristotle? How did their ideals match up with everyday practice? Being worldly and a scholar, I decided to take the studies and the work of one such philosopher and relate it to veterinary practice. That philosopher, you ask, is none other than Lawrence Peter Berra, otherwise known as Yogi Berra, DVM. Yogi Berra, as you know, was a catcher and a coach for the New York Yankees. He is now since passed, but a few years ago, we celebrated his 90th birthday in the press. And I dug into a few yogiisms as I prepared this speech for you. One of my favorite quotes from Yogi Berra is, "When you come to a fork in the road, take it. Life is like a circle drive." So nobody understands the background of this quote from Yogi Berra. And what it was one of his teammates was having a party and the other teammate didn't know how to get there. And he asked Yogi, he says, "Hey, how do I get to such and such's house?" And he says, "Well, when you get to the fork in the road, just take it." And what Yogi meant was, this guy lived on a circle drive. So whether you went left or you went right, you were going to go around the circle and wind up at the right spot. So many times life is like that circle drive. You worry and fret that you have to make the perfect decision. Just learn to take risks. It'll be okay. You won't lose as much as you'll gain, and you will enjoy the process and the moment rather than worrying about the outcome, because you're going to get there regardless of which way you go at the fork in the road. Another quote of Yogi Berra, DVM, is, "If you don't know where you're going, you just might wind up somewhere else." Now, this is one of them that you young food animal practitioners really need to understand, because you're going to get sent out on calls in the middle of the night, and sometimes Google Maps is going to take you on roads that don't exist and take you different places. So this has some literal meaning to your life. I remember as a new practitioner in West Texas, it was easy for me because I would just look on the horizon for the legs of the feed mill, and I could just continue to drive until I got there. The one thing about West Texas that I learned, it was so flat and treeless, you could watch your dog run away from home for 3 days. This is one of those things in life that you really need to take some aim, and if you don't know where you're going, you might wind up somewhere else, and that's okay too. Another quote that Yogi said is, "Baseball is 90% mental. The other half is all physical." This is so true about veterinary medicine. Clients want to see you hustle, and they want to see your brains, and they want to see that they can trust you. And building trust and building follow-through, listening is just absolutely imperative. Work hard. Think like an owner. No job is too big nor too small for you as a new associate. The staff and the technicians are wanting to see, is this someone who's going to come in and help us build a practice? You coming into a practice is not just building your own career and your own life, but you are dependent upon for the success of the entire practice, from the kennel staff to the ownership. that you represent an important segment that means that we have to do this together so that we can move forward and make a life for everyone. The other thing is, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. You have to treat people right. Treat your clients right. Treat your clients with respect. I have yet to see a dog pick its veterinarian. This is a people business. And lastly, live within your means. Make sure that there's nothing more uncomfortable or more miserable in life than living outside of your means and not being able to make ends meet. Yogi Berra had an approach to case management. You can observe a lot by just watching. I had a veterinarian taught me one time, when you're looking at a diagnostic case, you'll miss more by not looking than you will by not knowing. Always get a good case history, because diagnostic tests, no diagnostic test will beat that good case history. If you ask me anything I know, I'm not going to answer. Just remember this. As a veterinarian, it's okay to say I don't know. It's okay to go look, to get a referral. And I think that when we get to that point in our life and we're comfortable with that and it comes with experience, that's when the art and the fun of veterinary practice really kicks in. I have a couple more favorites that I'll share with you from Yogi Berra DVM. In theory, there is no difference between practice and theory, but in practice there is. So we can learn all the theory in the textbooks. We can learn the theories of the science of veterinary medicine, but practice is the art of veterinary medicine. When we think about the colleges of arts and sciences, they really do go hand in hand. And nothing is better about arts and sciences than veterinary medicine. We spend so much time on the science part of veterinary medicine, and then we ask you to go out and make a living. And when you practice, the balance of art and science, the balance of practice and theory is what we call outcomes-based or evidence-based medicine. You will have to balance what your clients can afford, what your clinic can provide, the prognosis of the case, and the probability of the case outcomes, all in this balance. Just remember this: you are prepared. Trust in your training and your creativity. Work hard, and remember, most of what's going to make you successful in life are things that your parents taught you by the time you were 5 years old. Treating others with respect, wanting as much good for your neighbor as you do for yourself, and things to that manner. One of the last ones that I'll mention today from Yogi Berra was, you should always go to other people's funerals. Otherwise, they won't come to yours. I think the question you have to ask yourself in life: are you living for your resume, or are you living for your eulogy? I read the book David Brooks wrote, The Road to Character. And I think that in this life, it's time for us to focus on being kind, being brave, being honest, faithful. Forgiveness is something that releases yourself, not releasing the person that you forgive. Being strong, being caring. Remember, people say, I won't remember what you said, I won't remember what you did, but I'll remember how you made me feel. In 2015, Yogi Berra turned 90. Yogi said, when they brought his birthday cake out to him, he said, just cut my cake in 4 pieces, because I'm not hungry enough to eat 6. As you leave here today, your life on days will look too big, as Yogi's cake did to him. Be assured that you're prepared, and when you don't think you can eat the whole thing, just remember to stay true to yourself, your family, and your profession, and just cut the cake up in fewer pieces. Thanks for letting me be a part of your day. Thanks for letting me be. Thank you for being the best. Thank you for carrying forward the tradition of Iowa State University. We'll always leave the porch light on, and we'll welcome you to come home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Grooms and Dr. Thompson, for those inspiring remarks. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Wendy Winterstein, President of Iowa State University. Dr. Wendy Winterstein is in her third year as President of Iowa State University. She has served Iowa State for 40 years in a career marked by firsts. She was one of the first female ISU Extension and Outreach Associates, the holder of the first endowed deanship at Iowa State in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, and she is the first woman and only the second ISU graduate to hold the university's highest office. Please welcome President Winterstein.
Thank you, Dr. Danielson. It is a pleasure to be here to congratulate the class of 2020 on earning your degree from Iowa State University's College of Veterinary Medicine. Veterinary medicine has a very proud tradition at Iowa State University, a tradition of national leadership in research, education, and service, a tradition of being the first public veterinary college in the nation and the only veterinary diagnostic laboratory in Iowa. This tradition of excellence has enabled the college to make exceptional contributions to the health of both animals and humans, meeting the needs of the animal agricultural industry and companion animal owners, and preparing outstanding veterinary medicine professionals of the future. Indeed, during this unprecedented time, the College of Veterinary Medicine has played a key role in helping to address the COVID-19 pandemic that has impacted our campus, our community, and our world. We will see this tradition of excellence continue with all of you, the newest graduates of the College of Veterinary Medicine. It is now my pleasure to announce that in recognition of the satisfactory completion of your studies in the College of Veterinary Medicine, and by the authority vested in me by the state of Iowa, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine. The diploma that you will receive shall stand forever as evidence of your high academic rank. Congratulations.
It is now our pleasure to present Iowa State University's newest Doctors of Veterinary Medicine, the class of 2020. This year's honorary marshals are Drs. Gail Brown and Rebecca Walton. Our honorary hooders are Drs. Jessica Ward and Darren Berger. Each graduate will be shown in alphabetical order, including their photo, name, and where applicable, honors status, which may be cum laude, signifying a GPA of 3.5 to 3.69, magna cum laude, signifying a cumulative GPA of 3.7 to 3.89, or summa cum laude, signifying a cumulative GPA of 3.9 to 4.0. Rachel Simone Abbott. Casey Michelle Alcorn. Jessica Lynn Anderson. Austin Marcus Ashbacker. Stephanie Elise Bacon. Jacob Charles Baker. Kimberly Laurel Baker. Christopher M. Ballou. Abigail Kathleen Beam. Rachel Lynn Biddle. Casey Ann Bird. Zoe Rachel Braun. Elizabeth Sue Brewer. Chelsea Burr. Lucas James Shampoo. Crystal Chinchilla Vargas. Joseph Ryan Kristen. Aaron James Caldwell. Kevin Michael Curran. Jennifer Marie Darchuk. Nicole Elizabeth Davies. Lauren Francis Distash. Natasha Ruth Deal. Taylor Jordan Ebert. Logan David Eicher. Samantha J. Ekman. Krista Ann Erdahl. Amanda Gail Farmer. Jennifer M. Federico. Kirsten Marie Fevold. Cassandra J.Q. Fitzgerald. Kaylee Marie Flock. Rachel Louise Flood. Lainian Michelle Florkey. Sarit Guman. Javier Gomez. Bethany Ann Gunderson. Dalton Hansen. Casey Michelle Hart. Alyssa Nicole Hayes. Lindsay Elizabeth Heinen. Lawton Wiley Herbert. Cassie Hilbrans. Michaela Marie Hoffer. Michael Jameson Hofeck. Tess Cooper Hudson. Stephanie Louise Hurt. Alexis C. Hitry. Danielle Nicole Cates. Ryan James Cass. Alexander Philip Kazaruni. Hayden Marie Kelly. Alyssa Michael Kothy. Faye Philomena Kuzman. Benjamin Dale Corver. Casey Lee Corver. Trina Sophia Crum. Nicole Renee Lacey. Jennifer Deanne Lang. Brian Paul Lash. Bridget Kelly Lemberg. Brittany Ann Lewis. Emily N. Leischeid. Anna Lavu Mackey. Taylor Rianne Malloy. Jessica Mampy. Sarah Ann Marnin. Elizabeth Ann Marshall. Stephanie Ray Matthias. Elizabeth McBride Lillig. Emily Marie McDowell. Jessica Jane McManigal. Molly K. McWilliams. Janelle Marie Mishler. Emily Ann Mitten Enzer. Adeline Elizabeth Mueller. Sarah Frances Muirhead. Catherine Helen Mullen. Caitlin Marie Nelson. Andrew Paul Noel. Christina Rachel Novak. Megan O'Callahan. Graciela Gail Orantes. Rachel Rose Ostrom. Haley Leanne Paul. Joshua Stewart Payne. Zong Hong Peng. Jacqueline J. Peraza. Charlene Pereira Martinez. Emily Dawn Plock. Cody Allen Pritshaw. Brody Michael Prush. Victoria Marie Ray. Ariel Elizabeth Reynolds. Caleb Anthony Roddy. Ethan C. Rogers. Samuel Stephen Rogge. Michael Vernon Rohde. Morgan Lorraine Ryherd. Guillermo Salazar. Jenna P. Sanders. Caitlin L. Sandin. Brittany Morgan Schleikier. Nicholas Joseph Schmidt. Morgan Lachelle Shaver. Kelly Francis Scholes. Aaron Joseph Sholin. Catherine Elizabeth Siegel. Ori Michaela Silverstone. Claire Catherine Slagle. Jessica Smith. Kelsey Fanslau Smith. Michaela Jane Smith. Amanda Brooke Soley. Sarah Ann Stack. Kelsey Marie Stickler. Carrie Lynn Stone. Kimberly Joe Straight. Amanda Elizabeth Teal. Amanda Lee Toller. Glenn Wayne Thomas. Amanda Isabel Trompetta. Heidi Paige Marie Twist. Bailey Lynn Ulrich. Caleb D. Vanderweel. Michaela Kiana Von Johnson. Andy Bo Shatechka. Rebecca May Wall. Melody Joy Ward. Whitney Marie Webb. Michael Wayne Welch. Seth David Wilharm. Amanda Marie Wilson. Susan Mary Winter. Audrey Francis Wachowski. Amanda Ray Zelliff. Donna Aline Zellner. Jennifer Kristen Zingula.
I am Dr. Amanda Fales-Williams, and I am the chair of the Department of Veterinary Pathology at the Iowa State University College of Veterinary Medicine and the president of the Iowa Veterinary Medical Association. I am joined by one of Iowa State University's newest doctors of veterinary medicine, Dr. Seth Wilharm, president of the class of 2020. It is my pleasure to lead you in reciting the veterinarian's oath. At this time, I invite all the new doctors of veterinary medicine in the class of 2020 to please arise wherever you are and join Dr. Wilharm in repeating the oath after me. Being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine,
being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine,
I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
to use my scientific knowledge and skills
to use my scientific knowledge and skills
for the benefit of society,
for the benefit of society,
through the protection of animal health and welfare,
through the protection of animal health and welfare,
the prevention and relief of animal suffering,
the prevention and relief of animal suffering,
the conservation of animal resources,
the conservation of animal resources,
the promotion of public health,
the promotion of public health,
and the advancement of medical knowledge.
and the advancement of medical knowledge.
I will practice my profession conscientiously,
I will practice my profession conscientiously,
with dignity,
with dignity,
and in keeping with the principles of veterinary medical ethics.
and in keeping with the principles of veterinary medical ethics.
I accept as a lifelong obligation
I accept as a lifelong obligation
the continual improvement of my professional knowledge and competence.
the continual improvement of my professional knowledge and competence.
My dear students, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome the graduates of the Iowa State University College of Veterinary Medicine Class of 2020 into the veterinary profession. I now invite you all, wherever you are, to stand and join the vocalist and second-year veterinary medical student, Anvita Hanchate, in singing The Bells of Iowa State.